Good morning, chairpersons and friends. I'll be talking about complications and side effects of intraarterial chemotherapy for retinoblastoma. Globe salvage in intraocular retinoblastoma depends heavily on intravenous chemotherapy. IVC works, but it has its disadvantages too. Hence, there was a need for more selective ways of treating RP, and that led to the advent of intraarterial chemotherapy, that is, a drug delivered into the ophthalmic artery directly. It was first performed by Rees in 1954, and this is a endovascular technique, and it involves navigation through ipsilateral ICA to selectively catheterize the ostium of ophthalmic artery. It is difficult and it has a learning curve. The major advantage of IAC is that it minimizes the systemic absorption of drug, thereby reducing drug-related toxicities. And as a result, higher doses can be delivered to the tumor bed directly. And the most common effective drug is melphalan, which may be combined with topotecan and or carboplatin. The success rate in a meta-analysis has put all the ISC worldwide as 66%. However, higher rates of 82% at 2 years have been found in the various studies. And in the Shields group, it is 100% at group C and group D. And it has its limitations. It's less effective for advanced groups, and with recurrence rates and always this possibility of elimination of micrometastasis remains. And IC for retinoblastoma, therefore, though effective, may have serious and local systemic side effects. So we wanted to report the adverse events following IAC in large cohort of patients. All the data of 35 eyes which underwent IAC were analyzed. And this is done under fluoroscopic control by intervention neuroradiologist. We have 35 eyes with a mean age of 25 months, and the most of the classification groups were in group D, and it was primarily in 9 patients, rest was secondary, and we achieved a globe salvage rate of 77%. The complications of choroidal ischemia, as seen in this is sectoral and large area, sectoral area, and it was extending to the ciliary body and extending to the iris also. Others were lid swelling and vascular occlusions not affecting vision was seen in 3, that is 3%. But one patient had the central retinal artery occlusion, and here is a patient who had this skin erythema starting from the lateral canthus to the temporal region. Others were vitreous hemorrhage and a late ischemic retinopathy. Here is a child with the central retinal artery occlusion, and we can see the avascular retina on fluorescent angiography, and ophthalmic events have been reported, vascular events have been reported in about 5 to 17%. So procedure related to ophthalmic artery stenosis is PASA, which is easily controlled by xylocaine, and others are anesthesia related. The majority of the local side effects were transient, and they all recovered between 5 days to 60 days. And persistent sequelae was in one patient, which was serious and which affected the vision. That was only CRAO, whereas rest all had recovered, and it did not affect the vision, with a mean follow-up of 36 months. None of them had metastasis, none of them had neurological sequelae, none of them died. However, one patient had new tumor as seen in this patient. Here is a patient, group 3 years old at age, and she had group EI, and she was given intraarterial because she refused enucleation. And this is the patient. She's completed 7.5 years of follow-up, and she has counting finger of 3 feet and enophthalmos and pseudophakia. Coming to the studies, choroidal ischemia is the most common local complication. Others are blepharoptosis and vitreous hemorrhage. And as you can see over here, there are no neurological sequelae. The vascular events, they affect the circulation of the iris, the retina, and the choroid. However, this study, which has compared the early and recent eras, they have found that all these vascular events have decreased from early era, that is 23%, to current era of 3%. So, coming to the conclusions, intraarterial chemotherapy Delivery demands high level of skill and expertise. It achieved a high globe salvage rate of 77%. Now, in our patients, we need to balance the patient's life with the globe salvage and vision. So we could achieve in 77% globe salvage. Patient remains free of local and systemic recurrence at a mean age of 36 months, and majority of patients develop transient local sequelae which resolve within 5 to 60 days. Only one patient developed permanent vision loss due to occlusion. In view of high success rate, IAC is recommended in the management of intraocular retinoblastoma. Thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to know, is there any anatomical variation in this ophthalmic artery once you are, you are catheterizing in different children? Does it need some kind of, because there could be variability in anatomical variations?
There have been variations which have been found. So in majority, ophthalmic artery was accessible and others had alternative through the middle meningeal artery. There was a supply from the middle meningeal artery which was connected to the ophthalmic thing, and others could be approached through the branches of the external carotid artery, that is the superficial temporal artery and others.
Yeah, that's true, because the embryology is very complicated for ophthalmic artery. That's why I want
So
to
they
ask
do a check angiogram initially before injecting. So to map, the vascular mapping is done to see the blood supply of the globe.
And this lateral cancers, hematoma, which you were showing at the lateral cancers, I think that's usually not part of the ophthalmic artery supply, to my mind.
No, this patient had a supply through the middle meningeal artery, but this is not a hematoma. It's just a skin reddening, and that stayed for about 60 days and it disappeared. Probably local inflammation or occlusion in that particular vascular branch supplying that area.
Maybe some aberrant vessel, if at all it was related, or maybe